My name is Daniel Kobylarz, and I am the soundtrack composer for Kathy Rain, the Director's Cut. I couldn't be more excited to be back in the world of Kathy Rain as both a developer and an adventure game enthusiast, and I hope you are too. In this video, I'm going to go over some of my music creation process and what it's like to enhance a setting through audio. Now, my role in this reimagined version of Kathy Rain is to do some renovation to the existing soundtrack and to add some new music too. We were fortunate to get some great feedback on the music when Kathy Rain was released in 2016, and I'm looking to come back to these tracks and revamp, remix, and add some elements to breathe some new life into them. The song that I'm going to focus this particular video on is the revamped main theme, and how I took the original version here, and I turned it into this. Now, first things first. When I'm making music, I like to place myself into a creative setting. This is my way of getting myself in the zone and ready to brainstorm. This means making coffee, lighting a candle, and even dimming the lights in my studio. Creativity is something that can be hard to harness at times, but I find that I can always get myself into a creative mode if I set myself up the right way. After getting my setting right, I then start to think about my objectives, and I come up with a checklist for this new main theme. I came up with these. Re-record the guitars. I've gotten some new guitars since Kathy Rain was originally released, so I wanted to play around a bit and get these tracks a little modernized. Experiment with the main melody. This is the really important part of the track, so I'll get more into that later in the video. Make it grander and larger. This is the director's cut. It's the ultimate telling of the story. The main theme should be large and big. And finally, most importantly, have fun with it. Now, a little about the song. The style is definitely rock, metal, and even more particularly this one subgenre of those called post-rock. So knowing that, I'll usually then listen to some music from those genres, and this will get my ears adjusted to those kind of sounds and styles prior to working on the track. I'll do this sometimes for a couple days beforehand. Now, music generally is, but doesn't have to be, made of two things: melody and harmony. Melody is the thing that gets stuck in your head, the catchy part. And harmony is the chords, chord progression, and also to me the context or the foundation for a melody. The melody of the song is this. And the harmony, what the guitars are going to be playing, is this. And when you put them together, you get this. It sounds nice, but Kathy Rain needs guitars and distortion. So that brings us to our first objective, to re-record the guitars. So then I finally open up my digital audio workstation, or DAW of choice. I set up my guitars and I get to work. My goal here is to get some good distorted, chunky, and heavy sounds. When I think of Kathy Rain the character, should I think of the words soft, light, or rounded, like this? . Not really. I think of the words tough, bold, and in your face. And the music has to reflect that, like this. After recording some guitar parts in that style, I put them all together. So let's compare the new version to the old version. Here's the guitar soloed from the old original version. And here's the new ones. Now, to me, these sound more modern, crisper, bolder, and in your face. Remember that I said that part was the harmony, or the context, the foundation, the thing that sits underneath the melody. Having that foundation, we can move on to the second objective, which was to experiment with the main melody. This is the most important part of the track. It's the catchy thing. It's a thing that hangs in your ear after you stop playing the song. I'm going to get a little philosophical here, but hang with me. I originally came up with this piece of music to show a duality in Kathy herself. Someone with a hard exterior who also has a kind heart and cares for her loved ones. The distorted guitars that you just heard show that toughness. The main melody is the contrast, the soft side of Kathy, and it's a little hidden underneath those guitars, just like her kind heart is hidden underneath her tough exterior. For this version of the main theme, I wanted to bring that melody out more. In my mind, Kathy has already been introduced to the world. She already has this lyrical main melody that accompanies her, and it's time to make it more prominent. Here's the old melody. And here's the new melody. To make this main melody stand out more, I added these acoustic guitar plucks that add this attack to the notes that the synth behind them didn't previously have. In music production, that's called a transient. After iterating and mixing these sounds a bit, I start to focus more on the third objective that I was aiming for in making the piece larger and more grand. To achieve this big sound, I looked into adding some string parts, like violins, violas, cellos, and basses. Specifically, I wanted them in the intro, which only had drums and a synth part. The synth was playing the harmony chords, which is the same thing that the guitars were playing earlier. And so I added these strings on top of that synth, and they're pretty much playing loosely the same thing. Here's what the strings sound like soloed. Now, when you add those strings on top of that existing intro, this is what you get. So there you have it. You got to see some of the process, some of the analysis, some insights into the sound choices, like using distorted guitars, softer synths, and now orchestral elements. Kathy Rain and All of Her Complexities deserves this sort of theme: tough exterior, a soft heart, and a larger-than-life presence. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and I can't wait for you to check out Kathy Rain, the director's cut, when it comes out later this year.